Hi, welcome back to my channel. Today I want to talk about the controversial Gillette commercial that is stirring up all this agitation online. First, I want to start off by saying that I don't think that Gillette is actually trying to be socially conscious or anything. I think that they did it for a few reasons. The first being that they want to stir up controversy so that people hear about them, so that people are talking about them, so that they're trending. If they're trending, then they'll get more publicity without needing to do a lot, and then they'll get more views and hopefully, sell more razors as a result of it. The next thing that I think they're doing is trying to win brownie points with the millennials, because I think that the millennials are a big consumer base for them right now, and I think that they would be stupid to lose that. So they're trying to appeal to the beta males and, all of these socially conscious individuals out there who think they're so woke, and they're trying to drum up business by appealing to them. I also think that they're trying to appear to be a better company than their competitors by saying, oh, we're doing something that has the moral high ground, when really they're just doing it because they want the publicity for free. But they want to appear like they're better than the competitors because they're doing something social and, something social justice warrior-esque, maybe. I'm going to break down the video and go point by point why it is complete bullshit, and actually also why I think that it is singling out straight white males and trying to make them look like the bad guys.
Bullying.
The Me Too movement against sexual
Toxic
harassment.
masculinity.
Is this the best a man can get? Is it?
Okay, so the first thing that they're talking about in this video is, they are talking about the Me Too movement and bullying, and this is one of the only times that you are going to see a black man in the video, in the beginning part of it, and it is actually, ironically, it is the man who is standing in the mirror trying to think about himself and his life and stuff like that. He's just trying to become more socially aware. I think that bringing up the Me Too movement is a, just right off the bat like that is kind of a poor decision, because the Me Too movement is very man-hating. It is, I don't know exactly how to describe it, but it's very making men out to seem like they do nothing but rape people and abuse women. And a lot of the people who participate in the Me Too movement are attention seekers, in my opinion. That's just a personal opinion. And then to tie it in with bullying and, the last image that you see in the clip that I just played is a text message that says freak. That is obviously, it's trying to say that guys bully people and young men bully people, and I'm not saying that isn't true, but girls can be pretty brutal when they're young, Girls can bully just as hard as men do, and it doesn't seem to, it just doesn't seem to make it seem like women can do any wrong in this particular clip. But I could be wrong. This is a commercial set to geared towards men, so let's continue on and see what else they have to say.
We can't hide from it.
Sexual harassment is taking over.
It's been going on far too long. We can't laugh it off.
Who's the daddy?
What I actually think she's trying to say.
Making the same old excuses.
Boys will be boys. Boys will be boys. Boys will be boys.
But something finally changed.
Okay, so in the second clip, you see a woman comforting a child, and it's a little boy, and there's a bunch of white boys running through the screen, and you see some common texts that people can say that are bullying. Yet again, girls are just as mean, if not meaner, than little boys with bullying. So I think that that's kind of ridiculous that they are showing these things and trying to single out guys. Then in the next part, you see you see clips from a TV show where a guy is what they would call sexually harassing a woman, which is probably his wife, given the nature of how old the TV show probably is that they're using the clip from. So I don't see how they can show that as an example of somebody sexually harassing someone. Men can be rowdy with their wives, and it's totally appropriate. The next thing that I found very strange was that they give an example of a rap video in which a guy is basically, being promiscuous and sexualizing women. But if you stop the video and take a screen, like I did, I took a screenshot of it and I zoomed in and I noticed that it's not a black guy in the video. It is a rap video that is sexualizing women, but it is actually a white guy that is being the performer, and it is a bunch of white boys that are watching the video. So, I don't know what they're trying to do about that, because they are pretty much saying that something that is a part of black culture sexualizes women in a bad way and is misogynistic, but they're not showing a black artist making the sexual moves towards women or having black women dancing provocatively in the video. They're showing all white people, and they're showing white kids watching it. Take a look at this and tell me what you think. Okay, so that is clearly a white guy in that video, and white boys watching it, and white women dancing in it. So I think that they are missing a major point here, and I mean, they're probably trying to not be seen as racist, but in a sense they are being racist against white people by taking something out of black culture and blaming it all on the whites. The next thing in the video, and the last point in this video clip, is it shows, I'm trying to remember now. It shows a bunch of men standing there, and this is the only other time that you will see a black man in the commercial doing something, and the only actual time that you will see a black man in the commercial doing something that could be considered against their standards or their viewpoints. And that's when several white boys are having a little brawl in the grass, and all of these men say, boys will be boys, boys will be boys, boys will be boys. is it really that bad to say that boys will be boys? I mean, when you consider the fact that men and women are inherently different and men are supposed to be rough and rowdy, it's not like this made up gender stereotype or whatever you want to call it. It is actually a biological fact that boys have something called testosterone, and it causes them to be rowdy and violent and play rough. And in, ancient times when men were the hunters and they were the warriors and stuff like that, it was necessary for them to play fight so that they could practice real fighting in real life. And for boys to be rowdy and play fight when they're younger, that is practicing for them to be older and actually have confrontations and stuff like that, because sometimes confrontations in life are necessary. And sometimes it does get physical. And women need men to be strong and be protectors, and they need a man who can be a little rowdy, who can do things that they can't do. Like if a guy is trying to attack them, they need a guy who can fight back. They don't need a skinny little twig pussy boy who, is overly feminine to just try to talk it out with the attacker. They need a rough and tumble guy to jump in and beat the shit out of them and actually defend them. So honestly, I think that the whole boys will be boys thing is a necessary part of life, because boys will be boys and they need to practice being a little rough and tumble so that they can do what they're meant to do in life.
Allegations regarding sexual assault and sexual harassment.
But she says
And there will be no going back. Because we believe in the best in men.
Men need to hold other men accountable.
Okay, so what do we see in the next clip? We see, again, women talking about sexual allegations, which is painting guys in the light of being racist, not racist, sexist and rapists and, things of that nature. The problem with things like that being put in this is that it is saying that men are responsible for being rapists. The average guy doesn't just wake up one day and decide, hey, I'm kind of misogynistic and I think that I'm going to go and rape somebody. No, it takes a very sick individual to end up going out and committing that sort of crime. The average guy is not going to be a rapist. He is not going to attack women. He is not going to do things that are inappropriate like that. It truly is, really sick individuals who go out and commit these crimes. And no matter how well you raise your children, there will always be rapists, and there will always be guys who sexually harass women, because that's not something that's it's not something that's taught to boys. It is something that is just, they're a sick individual, maybe they were abused as a child, maybe they, saw something that triggered them at a young age or something like that, or maybe they just are born to be sociopaths and sick people, and they end up going out and committing heinous crimes. So I think that it's wildly ridiculous to be bringing something like that up in a video like this. And then they go on to say that something finally changed. And they start to talk about, you know, how men need to hold other men accountable, and that, you know, stuff implying that things could be changed so that men aren't bullies and men aren't abusive and men aren't rapists and stuff like that. And it doesn't explain what finally changed. It kind of implies that their socially conscious message is going to be what changed everything, which is kind of egotistical of them. And then you finally see people of different nationalities coming into the picture. When you start to talk about how things are changing and men are becoming better, now you're suddenly starting to see, you know, black people and a guy who looks like he might be Hispanic or maybe Middle Eastern or something, I don't know, some sort of darker skin tone. But that's when you start to see people of other nationalities coming into the picture instead of just the white guys. So obviously up until now it's been strictly about white men being bullies and sexist, and now suddenly you're seeing all these men with all this potential, and they're of every race that you could imagine.
Men need to hold other men accountable.
Smile, sweetie.
Come on.
To say the right thing, to act the right way.
Bro, not cool, not cool.
Some already are.
So just a quick note on that last clip. So you see the white guys still behaving badly, and then you see the people of various colors and country origins step in and saying, like, not cool, or hey, whoa, stop that, and stuff like that. Yeah. So, again, we're still victimizing white guys.
In ways big
Yo, men, for acting like you.
and small.
I am strong.
But some is not enough.
It's not how we treat each other, okay? Okay.
Because the boys watching today will be the men of tomorrow.
So you see the end of the commercial, and it's talking about that the boys watching today will be the men of tomorrow, and it shows, you know, more guys stepping in and doing stuff that is right to do. And, you know, the funny thing is that these are things that men have always been doing. That's the kicker here, is that it's sort of implying that before now men were just innately scum, and now suddenly, maybe because of this commercial or because of whatever Gillette is doing, or, you know, I don't know exactly what they are attributing the change to, but they are definitely trying to attribute change to something going on, and it's not that men just act well. It's saying that, you know, something is awakening men, and that we need to make change in the world so that men act better. I'm just a little flabbergasted by this. I mean, men have always acted pretty well. There hasn't really been a problem with anything like that. Not at a large scale. It's making it seem like men have always been kind of crappy, and men have always, you know, I don't quite know how to describe what it's saying about how men have always been, but it's saying that suddenly Gillette is awakening the world, and now men are going to start acting better and behaving well, and, you know, woohoo! Everybody's happy now. There's, as I've said, innate differences between men and women. Men are, you know, supposed to be the strong protectors and the hunters and the providers and stuff like that. They're biologically made to do work like that. Women are biologically made to be nurturers and caregivers and teachers and child raisers and child bearers and things like that. The world is set up in a way that women think that they can do anything that a man can do, but they can't. I mean, they have the same opportunities to have the same jobs as a man can have, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they, A, take the job, or B, do well at the job, because their brains aren't wired to think the same way that men's are. It's just how things are. You know, another thing is that, oh God, like, who cares if a man is acting a little bit inappropriate towards a woman? Not like wildly like going out and raping her or whatever, but women aren't supposed to be the ones who initiate the dates. I mean, we can, but typically all throughout history, men have been the ones that have courted women, and I think that that's the way that it should be. And there are inappropriate ways and there are appropriate ways to court a woman, but that's not men being pigs. That's just men being men, or boys being boys, or whatever. Guys have more testosterone, they're more driven by sex, so they're going to act a little bit different than a woman would in certain situations. But I think that it's very interesting that they singled out the straight white males in the video. I think that, you know, there's a lot of instances where black men could have played a bigger part in it, and there's a lot of instances where black culture is a lot more offensive to women than white culture is, and they didn't point out any of that. They blamed it all on the white guys, from blonde-haired children to red-haired children to, you know, to very obviously Caucasian men and boys. And they didn't really address the fact that you see a lot more sexism and a lot more womanizing in the black community, and it's because of their culture and their DNA and, you know, stuff like that. It's just part of, I mean, they're more tribal and stuff than us in their lineage. So, of course, they're going to have more of the hormones and more of the natural genetic predisposition for things like that. I think that that is exactly the reason why you see more of that in the black community. And then also when you look at the fact that, like, rap music and stuff like that is a big part of their culture, and that all womanizes and treats women poorly and stuff like that. None of that is addressed in this commercial. Gillette, you are trying to be socially conscious, but in reality, you are just looking like racist pieces of shit that hate white men. Straight white men. Because you don't see any gay white men in the video. You don't see any gay guys in the video at all. And what's next? Are you going to start trying to bring out gender neutral razors? That's never going to work because men have different hair types than women. So men need a different type of razor than women. So you can never be completely gender neutral. And you can never get rid of gender stereotypes. And you can never change the way that boys are biologically wired and wired in their brains to think and work and behave. That's all I got for now. Leave questions and comments in the little comment box below. And remember, like and subscribe for more content. Thanks.